It's a great assignment, but it's going to be a group assignment. It's going to be a group assignment. So everyone's going to experience the power of community, and you're going to experience how much faster you can get traction. Right. So we have 20 something teams. That's very powerful if you guys work together. So the goal is to how do you get to 1,000 of your first early adopters? Okay. 1,000 of your first early adopters. I mean, even if you hit 500, it's pretty good, but shoot for 1,000. Shoot for 1,000. The world's a big place. And so is social media. So 1,000 is actually not that big of a deal. All right. So without further ado, let me play this video for everyone. Okay. Can you see that? Can you see the video? Yes. All right, good.
Yeah.
Let me maximize that. Play.
Welcome to the Stacks Web 3.0 Startup Lab Twitter crash course, getting your first 1,000 followers. Twitter is the most valuable tool for Web3 to create top funnel awareness and exposure for your startup. We will get to why this is the case and how you can accomplish this soon. But first, let me properly introduce myself to you. My name is Rick Bartelink, or Rick Sebastian, as my Twitter says, and I'm the social media manager at the Stacks Foundation, managing everything from YouTube to TikTok to Twitter with accounts like the Stacks main handle, Stacks organization, and more. Besides Stacks, I've worked with various Web3 companies growing their social media numbers. And before my switch to Web3, I worked as a social and growth manager for various gaming companies, a market where organic social growth is one of the main drivers for the growth of a company as well. During this course, we will first quickly go over the initial phase of setting up your Twitter account. Why quickly? Well, I feel like this is a process that's up and do yourself, though I have a few tips.
All right, Sean, I'm sorry, but that was the second time, so I'm booting you now.
Think you should know. After this, we will go through the strategies of getting your first 1,000 followers. So before we start, I'd like to quickly answer the question, why Twitter? Why not TikTok or LinkedIn? And the reason for this is simply because something which you as founders already know. You should always think from the perspective of your target audience. The Web3 or crypto audience is mainly active on Twitter. Therefore, it makes sense to first focus on Twitter. Now, I will say Discord is, of course, the second most important social media channel to work with. But from my point of view, this is a lower bottom funnel too, whereas Twitter is a more top funnel. This meaning Twitter can be used for organic exposure, growth, reach, a new audience, whereas Discord is harder to discover with almost zero organic traffic. Eventually, you will have a nice organic growth cycle where Twitter followers convert to Discord followers, and via Twitter or other social applications, they bring in new people. So it does all work hand in hand, but for now, let's just focus on Twitter first. So first, setting up a killer profile. Please think deeply about what you want people to see when they see your name, handle, profile picture, and bio. When you will be replying to certain people on Twitter, they will see your Twitter name, handle, and profile picture. These are the only cues they have then for determining whether they want to go to your Twitter account and check out your bio, pinned tweet, and other tweets, and after that, maybe even consider following you. So the first tip is to mention that you are a company.
Tom, do you have a question?
Yeah, I do quickly. I have 4 Twitter accounts, weren't very active, reactivated them when I
Okay,
joined.
sorry. Ask after the video. Save them for after. Okay, thanks.
Products, protocol, or belong in a certain product category. Alex does this very well with the Alex DeFi name. When Alex tweets beneath a tweet, people will immediately know that it's a DeFi project. For NFT projects, Bitcoin Pizza NFT shows that it's an NFT. Now, after a while, you can choose to just use your brand name and skip the product category. But especially for those first initial stages, giving some context is crucial. Saying that don't dwell on this too much. You are able to change it all. You are able to change all of this if you want to try a different strategy anytime. It's possible to change something with Twitter. Now, I think all of you probably will have this established already, but if not, I just quickly would like to mention that establishing your brand identity is something important too, in order to break through the clutter of social media content. A neat example will be Zest Protocol. They could maybe have been better off using a more DeFi focused brand icon, a name and banner, but I do think their brand identity does show. They have claimed an emoji, they stand out, and everything is brand aligned. Another quick example would be the Xverse wallet. The name Xverse wallet, the banner immediately shows what they are, and the logo feels very Web3 tech brand aligned. So the next step will be to create a killer bio. For startups, this should almost always be the product information. People need to use your bio to immediately know what you are and how you add value to them. Basically, why they should follow you. It's also a place where you can convert your followers to Discord members or website visitors, but that's something for later. The best way to draft is to think about writing your skill and what stands out. This can be your story or a unique selling point that no one has. Another way of thinking about this is your POP or POD, points of parity, what makes you the same as what people already like, and your point of difference, what makes you stand out from the others in your category. Alex, the complete DeFi on stacks, brings your Bitcoin to life. Launch new projects, earn interest, rewrite finance, reinvent culture. It starts with the skill, what Alex can do, and then it ends with the story, something which grabs people and makes them wonder, reinventing culture. Now, there are also situational strategies one can use. I will say try to experiment with a call to action. Sometimes I experience more Discord clicks when you address it in your bio. For example, if you're about to mint your NFT, if something major is happening in your Discord, or if giving away a whitelist spot, if a date is announced, you can temporarily test this by adding this into your bio. If you can see a significant uplift in conversion to your site or Discord, then you may leave it for the time being. Just a quick note, back to the basics before I get into deeper stuff. Make sure to have a high quality profile picture, a high quality properly sized banner. These are just the basics. A quick Google search can tell you what size and specs can work. There are easy tools like Figma that can let you resize your imagery for free. And besides the logo, something like the Xverse wallet banner and profile picture, as well as the graphic in their pinned tweet, are incredibly easy to make for anyone via Figma. All it takes is a 5-minute tutorial on Figma and you playing around with it for another 10 minutes. Now, lastly on this topic, the pinned power tweet. Research shows that after they click on your Twitter handle, the first thing they look at is your bio, but after this, the pinned tweet is the most important one. Now, for this tweet, it really depends on your company and goal. Many brands and protocols will add another graphic or a video or add even more content to their pinned tweet and leverage this extra space incredibly efficiently. When starting up, I will say that I prefer you to keep it simple, focused on who you are, what you do, and why you stand out. The moment you reach a certain point in your progress, I would advise you to switch to a more timely thing. For example, when Bitcoin Monkeys introduced the Slime Laboratory, they pinned this tweet with a link towards the website. This makes their newest and best feature immediately stand out, and not only focuses on the new followers, but also their current followers or recurring following, meaning people that haven't checked out their project in for a while. One thing to keep in mind is that this is an actual tweet, so it's retweetable and likable in the sense that you can like it. So although we then will get a bit into the upcoming material that I want to talk about, this can also be a giveaway that needs to be retweeted and liked, or a new piece of content you want people to like and retweet for extra visibility. Pinned tweets do get retweeted and liked more often. A last option would be, and again, getting a bit ahead of myself, to use a thread for your roadmap. Threads are a number of replies underneath each other that make up a full content piece. So if you really want to have a native full longer content place where you can explain your project values, what makes you stand out, and close with a call to action, you can use this place as well. Again, what works is something that you should evaluate and should be tracked. Use different Discord links to track which pinned tweet performs the best. Play around with the situational pinned tweets like giveaways or an update. Tracking, measuring, and optimizing is your best chance of nailing that killer pinned power tweet. Next phase, managing your social media. First of all, determine your voice. It depends on the way you look at it, fortunately or unfortunately, but your social media voice isn't as clear as it used to be. Financial authorities, exchanges, marketplaces, they can all be funny and lighthearted on Twitter, as well as an authority. Stacks, Binance, Coinbase all choose to not fully focus on the approach of being serious and an expert all the time. Sometimes humor is what attracts people. Web3 Twitter has allowed brands and protocols to be more vague in terms of their tone of voice. Nowadays, it's more about determining the boundaries you want to set for your startup. Think of it that you can generally set up a semantic scale where light-hearted fun, or if you want to talk Web3, crypto degen is on the left and thought leader is on the right. Crypto degen helps with engaging with your followers and fans, because if we talk about emotions, you can build a stronger relationship through humor than any other emotion. Appreciating people tweeting about you with hearts or saying we love this as a reply beneath a meme that someone made can motivate people to become an even bigger fan and brand advocate. I'm getting ahead of the course here, but a brand advocate is someone who, without you asking him or her to do so, talks highly about your project or service. A thought leader is someone who shares his thoughts on the market he operates in, showing authority and expertise in the field, which results in credibility and trust. If you're not an established person in the market or environment you're operating in, it makes sense to use this as a handy tool to make a name for yourself and the protocol. Now, to look at a few examples, Alex definitely took the more thought leader route with a deeper level technical expert tweets and threads, which makes sense. As a DeFi protocol, your focus group is a very niche group of people that know crypto very well and want to leverage DeFi protocols to earn back on their investments. Now, an NFT project like Rider, founded by social and Web3 growth Jedi Lewis Ivan, who introduced me to Web3, choose a more middle approach, which again makes sense considering their target audience consists of tech-savvy people, but also a lot of crypto degens that love to engage on Twitter, interact with memes, and consume Twitter native content. And of course, Rider does not only post memes, degen, puns, and other fun content. They're also serious when they're promoting their product. The beauty of Web3 is that you are able to leverage both the thought leader and fun approach all at the same time. It's accepted that everyone's able to make a joke and engage in a light-hearted way. How far you go, that's up to you really. Ask yourself some questions. Do you have a certain emoji that you will use often? Do you post memes or maybe just retweet them to show appreciation to your fans and show your followers that your fans care about your protocol or product? Or do you not do it at all and instead comment beneath the memes created by your fans? It's all up to you. Don't think about it too much, but do set a basic set of rules and ask yourself why. As already talked about, keep your audience in mind. Always think about who you're creating content for. If you're not sure, Twitter is open for everyone. So feel free to check out other NFT projects, DeFi protocols, or whatever your market is in, or whatever market you are in, to see what they are doing and whether you feel aligned with their style. Lastly, I will say it's a cliche, but I have to mention it. Do what's authentic to you. You can teach yourself to be someone else, and if your authentic you is a negative person, definitely change. But the reason why Rider feels so authentic is because founder Lewis is a very humble, down-to-earth, positive crypto degen. It fits his character, it feels natural. Right, I think I want to go over the next few slightly more quickly than other topics. The next 3 topics I will talk about in relationship to each other. A content calendar is a calendar where you place the tweet copy, the date it should go live, and whether and whether it has tweeted or not. You can make it more difficult than this, but as someone that has to look at 5 Twitter content calendars, a TikTok one, a YouTube one, another YouTube one, and some others every day, I always prefer simplicity. Now, I know it maybe makes sense to not do this and instead just draft some tweets and post them immediately. But I personally feel like it really helps because of the following reasons. Scheduling. On the web version of Twitter, you are able to schedule tweets. And if you don't like the Twitter scheduler, you can try out Buffer, the free scheduling tool. With this information, you can now dedicate 1 or 2 hours every week to create X amount of tweets for the whole week, and also schedule them during the times you want them to go live. This way, you dedicate 2 hours of your deep work, which makes the production of the tweets way more efficient. For example, as a way for fun and learning, I'm still managing an NFT Twitter account that's based around comedy. And for me to produce great content, I need to get into a weird, creative, fun mood. If I do this between the process of producing serious and technical heavy content for Stacks, it's not going to work. So in order to be efficient with your time, dedicate some time to create tweets, schedule them, and go on with your day. Also make it a habit of noting down your thoughts and ideas. I have multiple Notion quick links on my phone, which I open at least 10 times a day to write down a content idea. Some of them are not as great, and some of them are. So it's all about getting into the habit of doing it. All of you are brilliant minds that can produce clever thoughts and ideas. You just need to make a habit of writing it down. But don't dwell on the real tweet too much. Write it down, move on with your life, and come back to the real content creation when those weekly 2 hours are on the menu for that day. Also, if you have a team, make them join in on the fun. Make it a habit for everyone to send in cool content and can be shared. Being social is fun. Creating viral content is awesome. Now, next up, the almighty Twitter algorithm and measuring success. This is a topic that's very important to understand, and I can literally talk about this for 2 hours. But I will try to keep it simple. Twitter has a goal to retain users. Users are retained if they feel like the content they are getting is worth their time spent in the app. Content they value, basically. How can you measure whether they value content? Well, through likes, retweets, and comments. That's why Twitter has an optimized algorithm where your tweet does not get sent to all your followers immediately, but first to the ones that engage with your tweets the most. If they like, reply, and retweet, the algorithm knows it's a quality piece of content. It therefore will send a tweet to more people. This, besides the fact that the people that retweeted it have made it so that their followers will also see the tweets. So in terms of importance, retweet first, comment second, and like last. So your goal as a content creator should be to generate likes and comments and retweets, not because they are numbers, not because likes are dopamine kicks for yourself, but rather because it makes it so that Twitter shows your content to other people, and even better, your target audience. This algorithm should always be on your mind because it will be the tool to create growth for your company via organic content and organic growth and exposure. It's the one thing that makes your Twitter, your numbers, your conversion all grow. What's next is to think about why people engage with your tweets. To not make this very difficult, I will try to simplify this. People will often only comment when you ask for their thoughts, when something is really funny, or when they do not agree and want to complain. Asking questions is a great way to engage with your audience, build a better relationship, and also stimulate the algorithm to get your tweets shown to more people by stimulating the fact that people start to reply. Liking is often done when people agree with your tweets, when they enjoy something or find it funny. They like something if they like something, surprisingly. Now, retweeting is more interesting. Retweeting something means it gets shown to the followers of the person that they follow. So in order for people to retweet something, they want to stand behind the idea, the thought, or the concept that you provided via the tweet. Often statements taking a stand in a discussion are great ways to generate retweets, because these types of content, the people that see them want to retweet it and want to share it with their own audience and provide value for their audience. Another way to do this is to educate people about certain processes or concepts that people then want to share with their audience to educate them as well. However, saying all of this, people differ, audiences differ. These are general experience of mine through analyzing thousands of tweets, but it does not mean that they are valid for your audience. That's why you should always track your performance of the tweets. If you go to Twitter Analytics, you have the option to export your tweets. You can then upload them to a tool of your choice. I know it's not Web3, but I prefer Google Sheets as it's easier to filter. And you can use the tweet date to determine which tweets work best. I will go into this during the next part of the course. But first, getting your first 1,000 followers. All right, how to get started? You should see this process in 3 phases. Alone, which is not only my relationship status, but also probably your presence on Twitter. 2, core audience, about 100 to 1,000 followers. And then 3, the masses, over 1,000. The most important thing to keep in mind for you all is that you are alone right now. If you are alone, almost no one can see your tweets, almost no one can engage with them, and almost no one can share them. So does it make sense to take 2 hours of your time retweeting 20 times a day or tweeting 20 times a day? Absolutely not. When you are at the level of a Stacks main handle, meaning 130,000 people that follow you, it makes sense to tweet more and let people engage with you instead of coming to them. But you do not have this luxury at this moment in time. So we have to bring the engagement to the people instead of the people bringing it to you. Posting, tweeting and retweeting. I would say start with 1 or 2 tweets every day. If there are tweets you feel aligned with as a startup, definitely retweet them. This can be tweets from huge Twitter handles, but even better, people that are less known experts. It will then get you on their radar and they might return the favor one day. Retweets do not cost anything. Not everybody is your enemy in this space. Engaging, replying and liking. Now, this is an important step of growth. It can be a grind, but it's very fun and most of all very helpful for the initial growth. I personally do this all the time with every handle I manage. When I'm watching TV, listening to a podcast in the gym or in the toilet, making it a habit of scrolling through your timeline and replying and liking. Why? Well, remember how we talked about the name of you being Protocol X DeFi or Bitcoin Bears NFT? Well, when you reply beneath tweets of larger but also smaller accounts, your profile picture, your name, and your reply will be shown to not only the person that posted the tweet, but also everybody that goes to the replies of that tweet. Free exposure. Now, you might have heard of like farming and spamming replies saying cool beneath every post. By the way, like farming meaning liking every reply beneath a tweet. I don't necessarily agree with these tactics, but there is a reason why they are getting used and they do help. So what you should do rather is trying to find the middle ground. I would say like the things you agree with and comment meaningful, valuable content beneath tweets that people appreciate. Who do I engage with? Well, there are 2 ways to go about it. If you are a DeFi protocol, it makes sense to follow bigger DeFi protocols, even not in the Stacks chain, but also other blockchains, and provide value beneath their tweets. Why? Well, people that engage with those tweets are your target audience, as they follow and are already highly engaged with a DeFi protocol. If you can provide value in the form of a helpful reply, they will consider using your DeFi protocol and following you as well. It does not make sense to reply to an NFT brand or community if you're a DeFi protocol, because it's not your target audience. Besides this, don't always aim for the big fishes. The other way to go about it, the second way, is that with Stacks, there is a very engaged, tight-knit community that loves to chat about DeFi, NFTs, and more. There are so many active community members in the Stacks ecosystem that tweet and engage with many tweets, reply to their thoughts, befriend them, make them appreciate the value you add to them, and start to develop a core audience that wants to engage with you. I've added some interesting examples of startups replying to tweets, being light-hearted, as well as adding value. There are many ways to go about it. Replying with short comments to a lot of tweets, long replies to a fewer amount of tweets. Experimenting is the key here. Try stuff out and see what works best for you. Again, we will get into the how to measure phase after this, so you can see how to experiment. When you start getting more replies to your own tweets, it makes sense to reply to them, like them, and keep the conversation going. Never leave a comment unanswered in the first phase of your social presence development. Of course, when you get 500 replies, it's not efficient anymore to reply to everyone, but at the start, show that you value your first followers and eventually your first fans. Active community building, DMing and tagging and following. During the first phase, which we focus on with this course, it could make sense to follow back your first few followers, especially if they are active Twitter users and that post valuable tweets. In addition, as I've said before, the web3 Twitter consists of many people that love to give advice. I'm providing you with all of this information because I think it's important to grow our ecosystem and I want you all to succeed. And so do many other people. I personally met Stacks content creators like Advisor.btc, Jake Blockchain, Zero Authority, and they all are great people that appreciate sincere feedback and would love to work with new startups in the ecosystem. It's worth sending some DMs here and there to see whether you can do something with a few educational thought leaders in the Twitter community you operate in. Or maybe tag a few people beneath your tweets and ask them for their opinion on your statement or concept. Now, I do not mean spam the DMs of all these people and say, hey, check out my Twitter, or tag 20 people that all have Munib Ali-like followings. Start low, show honest appreciation, show you really want value from them, and they will provide it. Tag or DM DeFi or NFT nerds that tweet and reply actively. Ask them for their honest opinion on what you tweeted. Engage in an honest and sincere way. To conclude, during the first phase, get a flow of content, tweets going, but focus on engaging with your community first, or with the community in general first, rather than tweeting 20 times a day. Focus on bringing the engagement to the people instead of hoping for people to engage with you first, because that's not going to work in this phase at the moment. Tracking what works. I've briefly touched on this. Twitter lets you export incredibly detailed analytics. You can see how many people you reached, how many people engaged with you, and even how many people liked, retweeted, commented, but also clicked on your profile. Here's where the fun, for me at least, comes into play. Start filtering your tweets on the highest exposure and engagement, pick the top 10 and the lowest 10, and figure out if there's a correlation. Are there certain tweets that work best? Can you reuse certain concepts? For example, if you share a DeFi statistic about Bitcoin DeFi, and it results in a high engagement and exposure, maybe you can make this a weekly thing or even a 2 times a week thing. Did your explanation of yield farming result in a higher engagement? Well, maybe you can do dual yield farming as well, or maybe another topic around yield farming. Also, this tracking gives you the ability to test the reply and like strategies. First, reply to 10 tweets every day for a week with short replies, and like 100 DeFi replies every day for a week. After this, check your increase in followers and see how many people went to your account via the replies you posted. Maybe people do go to your account, but your bio and pinned tweet aren't effective enough for them to start following you. There is so much data available. In the beginning, it does really help to spend more time tracking the performance and figuring out what works. Otherwise, you will do hard work that's not efficient. Work smart, not hard. All right, tips and tricks. I will provide a few tips that I think are relevant for the time that you guys are in right now. There are obviously a lot more tips that you can look for, but these are a few that I think are still helpful. First one, your main feeds can become a clutter, as you sometimes want to follow people that you really don't want to see in your timeline. You can create lists that are chronological feeds where you can see every tweet from the people you add to that list. If you are a Stacks NFT or Stacks NFT startup, create a list of Stacks NFTs, a list of Stacks NFT thought leaders, and a list of Stacks thought leaders. This way, it makes it way easier to identify which tweets you want to engage with, instead of this timeline which has this algorithm and you don't know which to engage with, and it can just become a clutter. Second one, threads. Threads are a great way to provide long format value. They say threads are like the new blogs. Make them high value and engaging enough and they can go viral. Learn from other viral threads and see how they are drafted. The blueprint is there for you to use. So try eventually start experimenting with more threads. 3, speaking of the latter, do your research, copy ideas and make them your own. No idea isn't already thought of. Nothing you do is original. Ideas are often iterations or combinations of things. Don't feel ashamed to take an idea and run with it. Just don't blatantly steal a tweet. Rather steal the topic of a successful tweet as it's apparently relevant since it gets a lot of exposure. Or copy the style of the tweet. Next one, tweet categories or series. Does your educational tweet work? Create a series of them and post them over a longer time span. Do people like your alpha NFT review tweets? Well, do it weekly or 2 times a week. Create series to make it easier for you to create consistently more content. And last one, find out when the whole world is almost awake for you. For me, living in the Netherlands, that's 2 o'clock. The US has their morning, Asia has their evening, and Europe and Africa have their midday. If I schedule my tweets around this time, or at least one of those tweets, I know people will be able to engage with it as they are all awake, no matter where they are in the world. I will have a lot more tips and tricks, but I may be struggling with time, so let's go ahead into the assignment. The assignments. 1. If you haven't already, create a profile, a bio, a hello world tweet introducing yourself, which you all can pin. 2. Quickly write down half an A4 paper or page on your tone of voice, how you want to engage with people. Just think about it, basically. 3. Create 14 pieces of content and schedule them over about 10 days. 4. Create a list or follow 50 people that you will find valuable for your startup. Try to find a mix between large thought leaders in the space and more niche community peeps. 5. Tag me, Rick Sebastian, in your next tweet. Get accustomed to being bold and tagging people that you haven't met yet. Become comfortable with asking for advice, help, and praising people on Twitter. Be a bit bold. Your DMs will be ignored. Your tweets will get 0 likes. It's part of the process. If you tag me and say, thanks for helping, what's your view on this topic, I will at least like the tweet and comment and say, awesome, or something like that. And with me, hundreds of other people. Next one, choose an engagement tactic. It all depends on how much time you have. But if you can, reply to 10 to 20 tweets every day and like 20 to 50 tweets. You can continue doing this for a week and see if it brings the desired results. Next, and this is for all of you together, become a circle of core stacks of builders on Twitter. Again, be positive, help each other out. You're not competing, there's enough for everyone. Ask each other to reply beneath tweets, retweet each other's tweets, only if you think they are valuable, that is, and like each other's tweets. Help each other grow. You should all be each other's first followers. All right, that's it for me. If you have any questions, feel free to either ask them personally, send me a DM, add me on Discord, or ask them during our Q&A. I'm here to help you guys succeed and would love to see your numbers grow exponentially. Final thoughts for me, don't get demotivated by the lack of traction. Make it a habit of not giving a F if you get a no or someone ignores you. That's life. You will get ignored. You will receive hate. I think that I can create a 10-part of 5,000 pages book series from the hate I received beneath content I created over the years. Don't take it personally. They're just 9-year-old kiddos with a fake bored A profile picture that do not know what to do with their lives. It's just the way social media works. So don't take it too seriously and don't get your mood down because of it. Just start doing it. Just start posting, just start replying, just start engaging. And on that note, thank you for watching this course on social media. Good luck with starting on social. May you all become new leaders of Web3 built on Bitcoin. My name is Rick Sebastian on Twitter, and I will speak to you soon.
All right. Awesome. What do you guys think? Who's already got over 1,000 followers? Woo, Dylan. Awesome. Who else? Who's got over, how about who's got over 500? All right, so I'll give you an idea of this, right? The first time, because I mean, everyone probably knows that I've been in China for most of my career, and I'm in Shanghai right now. We're behind this great China firewall. So Twitter is like something I never used really, and I created an account just for the Stacks Web 3.0 startup lab. Right? Trevor helped me start an account, and this was about what, like about in April. So it's been about what, about 60 days, right? And I have about 600 followers, and those tips that Rick gave really helped, right? But I didn't have all those tips. I was sort of like learning. Trevor gave me a crash course, so I only had like only 1/10 of the stuff he said. But even then, I was able to, slowly build up. So I'm really excited actually to try this with you guys this week and see if we can add, like, for example, we each add 500 followers, right? But we could take some of the tips that he talked about, like, are you DeFi? Are you going to brand yourself as NFT, right? If you're going to like stuff or comment on stuff, comment on people that are within your category that can help optimize, right? Your the accuracy of your who you're attracting, right? Okay, so get your questions ready. Yes. Okay, let me send Rick our he's pinging me right now. Okay. Boom. So get your questions ready, because we are going to do a group activity this week, and we're going to be very active, right? So it means maybe tomorrow you guys are going to go through the naming video and put together those 14 tweets. But instead of 10 days, maybe you guys have it deployed in like 5 days, right? and then we'll keep each other motivated, right? Because next week we have 4 really exciting talks, and after each talk we can exchange notes and see how we can help each other the next day. Right? So I'm really excited to see what the super storm or super swarm is going to help create for us. All right. Okay, so he is. Let's see. All right. Hello, guys. Can you turn on your videos? If it's convenient, please turn on your videos. And hi, Rick.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Rick. So everyone loves your video. One Robin said, whoever did this video needs a raise. Such a well explained and informative video. And did you guys like I don't know if you guys feel the same way as me, but like Rick has like one of those celebrity voices. So it's like very yeah. It was quite the pleasure to listen to your video, and thanks so much for compressing to 37 minutes. It must not have been easy. It's always harder to compress things. It's very like high information value. Thank you for that. So with that
Appreciate
said,
that, man.
yeah. Yeah, so thank you, Rick. Okay, so guys, ask away, because our assignment this week is to get traction from our early adopters on Twitter. I know Tom had a question, right? Yes, Tom, go for
Yeah,
it.
I'll get it. Great video. Really appreciate it. I'm going to watch it again. My simple question is, do I leverage my existing accounts that I've had open for a number of years with 100 or 200 followers from different disciplines? And is there a way to change those effectively, or do I need to start from scratch and follow your directions?
I'd say I'd advise you to start from scratch, but you can definitely leverage like all the other accounts to like get that first traction. I think you have a very great advantage that you already have like some sort of an audience. I think we do that all the time with when there are like new Twitter accounts that we have to start like boosting, because those first initial ones are the most tough ones to get. So I think definitely start promoting with the others and make it feel like very authentic and natural. But I'm sure you'll figure out a way how to do that.
So no major advantage to having an account that's been there for about 10 years. I'm not going to have real difficulties gaining whatever that account offers me with a new account that's following your methodology, which is probably going to grow faster, but is a brand new account.
Yeah,
Well,
I think I'd go as far as saying that if it's a 10-year-old account, like maybe it's even like strange to people to see that that it already existed for such a long time. Like if it's a new protocol or a new project, then it has to be like this new fresh thing, I think.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Scrapping it.
all right, good question,
Also,
Tom. Yeah, and I really like Rick's video, because this week, I mean, we spent 2 weeks on finding who our early adopters are, and Rick gave a lot of tips on how to optimize, right, to bring on the right audience. So it's a good idea to start fresh and just make sure there's a very high quality followers that are a more concentrated, more accurate customer segment. Okay, excellent, awesome. Next we have Jacob.
Hey, Rick, very nice video. My
Thanks,
question
man.
relates to public speaking, if you will. I really like how you present things and how you speak so fluently. So I've been getting out there a little bit on Twitter Spaces, and I'm going to start doing video as well. And I just wondered if you had like a
Awesome.
quick tip or two on how to speak as fluently as you do. I know you could dedicate a lifetime to learning that skill, but if you could just help us with like 1 or 2 quick tips, that'd be awesome.
I mean, yeah, first of all, thank you. I appreciate that. I guess it's a very cliche answer, but I think it's cliches are there too, because they're true. Like as long as you know enough about a certain topic, it's very easy to talk about it for a long time. And if you're passionate about it, then that's fine. I will say when I started, and I do it all the time, even with like Twitter Spaces, and I think, for example, Kyle Ellicott, who does the Twitter Space for Stacks as well, like he does have bullet points for every spaces that he wants, like talking points that he wants to talk about. So even like writing stuff down gives you probably more confidence that you actually have like the points written down and know what you're doing. So I think that's one of the things that I still always try to do when I go into Twitter Spaces. But like apart from that, like just the fact that you're already doing it is already like very valuable. Just there are so many Twitter Spaces in like the Stacks ecosystem, and I think there are about 5 or 6 already that are quite gaining quite some traction, and there will be all happy to have you guys all on. So I think definitely I haven't even mentioned Twitter Spaces in the whole thing, but I think definitely start doing that as well. So I'm glad you already started doing this.
Awesome, thanks, Rick.
Sweet. Okay, Travis.
Hey, Rick, enjoyed the video. My question is, a lot of the content in the video was focused around sort of creating new topics that are gaining traction, things like that. My question was in regards to something slightly different, which is if you have any recommendations on how to most effectively find topics that already have threads and a lot of traction from a discussion standpoint that relate to our project, that maybe we can provide some thoughts on as a thought leader and kind of piggyback on. Do you have any recommendations for most effectively finding those topics that are already in the Twitter sphere?
I'd say, yeah, I mean, this the search bar for Twitter is your best friend in that sense. Like, I think it's all about like trying to experiment with different types of search things. There are even like, if you go to Google, I think um, there's a whole tutorial on how to do like different types of searches. You can even like, if you have certain country codes behind it, you can even segment into different types of topics for your certain for the topic that you want to search for. And except that, like, even like I said as well, if you start using the lists properly and you have like a full list of like 50, whether it's DeFi protocols or NFTs or something like that, you generally speaking have like enough topics to discuss and talk about. I think so. So yeah.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Excellent. That's a good tip for everyone. All right, Scott.
Eric, awesome video. I want to get your thoughts more on like maybe the bottom of the funnel, or even how Discord could be used to acquire customers too, in the Web3 space, like how it functions, and also like in the Stacks ecosystem, how like the Discord community is. I know there's like a main Stacks central channel, but I wonder if there's any, you see other ones popping up.
Yeah, I guess I think I've discussed this with Albert. It'll be something for like next week, but I will say that it's a very important tool as well for you guys, and it definitely, like, that whole cycle of starting with Twitter and then converting into Discord, and then from there starting to get more traction on Twitter as well is a very valuable thing to do. You can really see, like, I think if you already start like a projects like NFT project Stacks, Degen from like Bitcoin Monkeys, like they have a very great overview of how to get people from Twitter and from like the whole social media out to social media into the Discord. And then if you look at the Discord itself, there are different types of contests and giveaways and things, rates and everything that gets all those very core audience fans back to the old Twitter area. And then you can see, like, if I tweet something out with the Stacks main handle, with another handle that Stacks manages, you can immediately see like all those core audience members of Stacks Degens and of other protocols like coming and going to the comments, and they start to become like these brand advocates for you. So it's such a important thing to use. And yeah, I guess like in terms of if there are other discords that you can start like using and leveraging for your own type, I guess definitely the Stacks Discord is one to definitely start on. And other than that, like, I think almost every, I don't know, I'm still unfortunately not sure like which type of startups you all have, but for example, like in all the FT Discords, there are always like suggestion channels and random channels that are very focused on like other type of projects, and that people can like promote their own stuff. So I think even like if you have an NFT project, there are so many channels that you can use. And I think even with the Alex Discord, there's also like a suggestion channel where people just chat about DeFi in general and everything. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for that. Melanie, did you have a question? When the best time to tweet is?
Yeah, I was just wondering, and I mean, Rick, now that you're here, you can probably help answer this. For crypto Twitter specifically, what are the best times of day to tweet or to get on and be engaged?
Right. Yeah, it really depends obviously on what's your audience like. There are, I think for example with Alex and with StackSwap, they have a lot of like Asian core audience members, so that it makes more sense for them to start posting on those times. But I think generally speaking, like I think I did discuss this briefly in the talks. Well, like I always love to look for the time where even Asia, Europe, and the US are all awake, so that I just know that everybody is awake right now, and you have to kind of have that like immediate engagement. And other than that, I would say try to experiment and see what works. I think sometimes I even have it wrong in terms of what time I think that it's best to post, and maybe your core audience members or like the the people that really want to engage with you are onto different times. So I think, yeah, experimenting is your best friend there.
That makes sense. Thank you.
All right, great advice. Dylan, I think Dylan has a good idea. It's an idea, part of a bigger discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I think if we all sort of maybe sent Albert like a blurb or something, a quick blurb, and maybe like a link to our Hello World tweet. Sorry to put you on the spot, but is that something you would maybe retweet from the Stacks account? That could, I think, help with growth.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have access to Stacks account. Maybe we can ask Rick how we would do that, or like that's one question. But I mean, that also sparked another question: is Rick, what's your advice on how, because we have 25 teams, right? How can we work together to create like a storm or a swarm, to speed things up?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, definitely start promoting each other as well, I would say, and start engaging with each other. Like that initial type of traction and the likes and the engagement, the tweets, the retweets definitely already help, like getting that first social recognition, getting that first proof out there. And besides that, I think you all together also have like the power as a group to start promoting each other as well, but also starting to go into like different mediums to talk out about the all new builders on Bitcoin and all of that like narrative of the new startups that are building on Bitcoin. For example, I think either one of you or Albert, or I'd like to do it as well, like reaching out to Shannon to organize the Twitter spaces with Stacks, and then getting all you guys out there and getting to talk about it. That's something we would be always up to doing it. If there are certain updates that you guys want to be retweeted, it's possible to do so. So I think there are many ways to get that initial traction, and everybody is like very happy to help on that side.
Yeah, love the idea of Twitter Spaces too. That'd be great.
Yeah, I heard some names in there. Who should we? Okay, so let's just say everyone gives us the hello world, and then I put it into a thread, right? Who would we reach out to at Stacks? Who could retweet? I heard some names.
You can reach out for the retweet or whatever. You can reach out to me. That's fine.
Oh, okay, all right. Thanks, Rick.
And then for Twitter Spaces, then it will be Shannon, but also like ask me and I can ask Shannon. That's fine.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and like don't feel any kind of pressure. If you feel like, oh, this is like not good, let us know and we'll make it better. Right. Yeah. All right, awesome. Peter and then Norvell.
Cool, thanks for the presentation, Rick. So I kind of have two quick questions. Number one, I guess, do you have more advice to reach out to some prominent community?
Well, Peter, could you please repeat yourself? I think you sort of broke up there. Just one more time, please. It's okay. It looks like Peter just got, I don't know if he's even here anymore, but Norvell, how about you try?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So my first was just a little comment. So I had some help, like with our Instagram, and one of the tips that they told us was kind of to make posts when your target audience is like on lunch, the ideal time that they would be on lunch, because a lot of times when we go on lunch, we, get on social media and just scroll our timeline. So that was some of the advice that I got. But so specifically for Twitter, what kind of content do you recommend we post? So like, for example, on Instagram, I might have used like an article to share to the story, or just like a random picture of something that's happening, and some a quick little caption. But for the Twitter audience, what type of content?
Norvell, let me
Mhm.
jump in. Can you give Rick like a 1-2 liner of what you're doing, your project, and maybe he could give some more, pinpointed suggestion? Like
Okay.
what's your space and what you're trying to do? The problem you're trying to solve.
Yeah, so pretty much we are targeting music musicians. So right now we're pivoting to we want to do merch, virtual tours, and NFTs.
Awesome.
So
Yeah, because they're really good at creating like a metaverse immersive environment, right? This is like their thing. So that's what you meant by virtual tour, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, so our audience, they won't be too like they won't care too much about the technicality of things. It'll be more of like a fun time, like that's the type of like you said, we want to be more humorous than technical. So what kind of content do you recommend we post specifically for these first couple of days to kind of grab people's attention without, turning them off for being too technical?
Yeah, I would say like obviously like already discussed in the talk. Um, don't try to focus on tweeting too much at the beginning, but definitely get a few categories going in which you can start creating content. Like I'd say like one of the categories that you should definitely use is try to explain more about the project, try to explain more about the service, and then like you said in a very light-hearted way. And a second one I think always works well in terms of engagement, in terms of gaining likes and retweets and starting to build that in your case like that Web3 like music audience. Start talking about how you in a thought leader way how you're bringing more of the music type of stuff to Web3. Like I think for example Mitchell, our head of growth, now started the Unmutables, which is somewhat of a summit for like Web3 music. And what he did really well was always start tweets with a certain phrase or certain statement of how the current way of producing music and establishing like having the monetary value of music is wrong, and how you can make that way better via Web3 and via the new blockchain way and via the new owning your music again. So starting with those very ambitious like thought leader type of quotes, and then funneling it down to more promoting your product and why you stand behind it goal and why you think that your product or your service can add value to that. I think that's a great way to start gaining more traction, because you have that very abstract level view and abstract level statements about the whole industry, and then moving it, funneling it more towards like your own products. So yeah, and then like you said, you can always, there's so much fun already happening in the whole Web3 music space as well. Like I think, for example, everything that's happening with LimeWire at the moment, feel free to comment on that, feel free to retweet that, or have a quote tweet and then say how you would be able to do this better, or how you could help providing more value in that sense as well. And yeah, there's already a lot more traction going on in the Web3 music scene. So
All right, thank you.
welcome, appreciate it.
Awesome. And then Peter, you're back.
Hey, sorry about that earlier. Yeah, great presentation, Rick. Just two quick questions here. So number one, do you have any specific recommendations on like how or what we should say to the current like Stacks community leaders if we're trying to work with them and pushing out information?
I'd say start with asking for advice now, what they think about your protocol or your service or what they're doing, and then it probably will make them excited to start chat about you. And if you just show that honest appreciation and engage with them and ask them questions, then they will get like an affinity with your product and everything that's surrounded with the things you do. Like I said, like the advice of BTC, 0.BTC, those are, they're just super kind guys that just want to create content for the Stacks community. So if you give them something that's new, that's interesting to them, they will definitely first gladly give you guys advice at first, and then second probably already create like threads about it and talk to you more about it on Twitter and start engaging with you as well. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it. And then another question I had. So the project we're working on is to provide music streaming with only Bitcoin transactions. So would it be a good idea to challenge Bitcoin maxis and try and kick the beehive for publicity?
It's a tough one. I'd say like you said, like bad publicity is still publicity. It can be an interesting way to strategize it where you can try to attract engagement. I think it's one of the things that we're trying to do with Stacks as well. Like it's a slight and indirect attack on the whole Bitcoin maxis. You can do it, but I won't say like try to do it like indirectly. Like try to say that Bitcoin is so much more than just like the transaction and the money layer, and that you guys are making it possible, and try to take it more into like a positive light, and then let the replies can become like slightly more assaulting or attacking or whatever you want it to be, but always like try putting it in a more positive light at first, I'd say.
Awesome, appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, very positive feedback.
Also for you, Albert, like is there a place I can check out all the people here and all the ideas that
we can add you to our Discord. Would you like to?
Oh yeah, would love that.
Yeah, and then
yeah,
that's
sure.
one place, and then I think yeah, we are working on like a list of ideas. I think now is a good time because a lot of people are pivoting, so we didn't do that in the beginning, but now that a lot of people are finding their groove, maybe we can have something up by the end of the week. But I'll add you to Discord first. All right.
Awesome.
And I also want to be mindful of your time. I remember you said you had until like 11:20 Eastern time. It's a little over. Do you mind if answering like one more question, Connor's question, and then call it a wrap?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Okay.
It's actually not a question. And I can't be the only one thinking this, but like it's been a year that I've heard that voice listening to Stacks, and it's nice to finally put a name to the face. So thanks for coming on and doing this.
Awesome. Yes, well said.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yes, you're not the only person
doing it.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much, Rick, for sharing. First of all, spending the time to put together such a beautiful video, coming on, answering questions, and we're really looking forward to your next talk or your next sharing about a week from now, right? How to merge Discord and Twitter to create a virtuous cycle.
Yeah.
So we're gonna really be looking forward to that too. So in the meanwhile, enjoy Consensus and see you in a week. Thank you. Oh, one last
awesome,
thing.
man.
Can everyone
Thank you very much.
on your videos? We have a ritual.
Yeah, sure.
We're going to do a picture, okay? We have this thing where people memento. Robin, Jorge, Andy, please turn on your pictures. Jacob. All right. So let me see. All right, let me do this real quick. So on 3, we're gonna say Rick is awesome, okay? 1, 2, 3. Rick is awesome. All right, thanks guys. All right, we got that. We're gonna add you to Twitter and we're gonna give you this picture. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, I appreciate it. Okay.
Also, guys, if you guys have any questions, like feel free to ask me like via Discord. I think I left my Discord handle, or like add me as a friend on Discord, or just do it via Twitter. Like I'm happy to help, happy to chat about social or other stuff. Yeah, really appreciate what you guys are doing. I do hope you guys definitely all make it into the accelerating and start becoming new builders on Bitcoin and start doing everything, because yeah, this space needs a lot of more innovative leaders in the space, and I think you guys yeah, could definitely do it. So looking forward to seeing what you guys will all be in about a year time.
Yeah, and everyone that makes it into the accelerator, Rick, you'll know that you did your part by doing this video and sharing. Thank you. All right.
Appreciate it, man.
All right. Have a
Bye-bye.
good time at
See you
Kids.
guys.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. The rest of you
Thank you very
stay
much.
on.
Bye-bye.
We have one last thing to do. All right.